Hi, I'm Dr. Scott, and I'm a psychologist at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And in my job, I get to work with a lot of young people, and primarily why people come to see me is to kind of work on strong emotions related to different circumstances or situations that might be occurring in their lives. And so in light of recent racial unrest and, on the heels of the events with George Floyd and many, many others that have come before him, I thought it was important to put out a message to my young people that really just talks about what you can do to deal with and cope with how you might be feeling in response to everything that's going on right now. So a lot of young people have expressed, just in my experience, dealing with sadness, anger, frustration, disappointment, confusion, fear, anxiety, and worry. So there's a range of different ways that people are feeling right now. So I thought I'd give you a few helpful hints of things that you can do to cope during this really tough time. So number one things you want to do is, one, identify how you feel and validate that. So that's really the most important thing that you can do, is just understand, recognize, is this fear? Is this anger? Is this, what is this that I'm feeling? And is it okay to feel that way? Absolutely. So that's something I want to do, is just validate for you right now that the way you feel, it's okay to feel that way. A lot of times people will say, well, no, maybe I shouldn't feel that way. Or you might even ask a friend, is it okay for me to feel this way? It is okay to feel how you feel. Now it's what we do that matters, right? So it's okay to feel how you feel, because our emotions do inform us on how we're doing. But it's what we do with those emotions that really makes the difference. So you can either pick a safe way or an unsafe way to process and manage that emotion. So some safe ways to deal with your emotions. So first things you want to do is keep open communication with adults in your life or other people from your community that can support you and give advice and be that, level of support that you really need. So definitely seek that out and keep the conversation going. A lot of people are saying, well, maybe it's not a great idea to talk about these things because, we've been through so much with COVID-19. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it. You absolutely should be having these conversations. Don't keep it in. Talk about how you're feeling. The next thing you want to do is find some positive outlets, right? So if you are feeling angry or frustrated or sad or however you're feeling, find some positive ways to kind of put that energy into something. A lot of people are getting into artwork, music, any kinds of like drawing or design, writing and poetry. There's tons of different ways that you can find some positive outlets to just kind of like put that, put those emotions into. Other things that you can do is seek out support through your faith. A lot of folks are seeking out religious, activities and things like that help to build your faith and give you a sense of peace or zen in the current climate, and that's totally okay to do too. The one thing though you do want to avoid, or things to kind of avoid in this situation, is, for one, overexposure to media. So I know a lot of folks, especially young people, have probably actually seen the video of George Floyd, or either have seen a lot of media coverage around that and a lot of back and forth and arguing and all of that kind of stuff. That can be vicariously traumatic. So I would say definitely limit the amount of exposure to media, of negative media. Now, of course, it's important to be informed, it's important to be educated, and it's important to have your voice be heard. But apart from that, if you're kind of ruminating on more of like the negative aspects of everything that's going on, I would say kind of limit or avoid that kind of overexposure to media. Other things that, are kind of not so healthy or not so safe ways to be dealing with your emotions right now. Basically things like, engaging in aggressive behaviors, things like blaming yourself or feeling like there's something wrong with you based on the current climate or the things that are going on right now. And of course, the number one or really most important thing that you want to avoid right now, especially if you're dealing with symptoms of depression or anything like that, is to, kind of resort to suicide. You'd be surprised at the high rate of suicides that we've been seeing lately, and it's just because of the emotional distress that folks are under, with the COVID-19 crisis and now rolling into this situation. So I definitely would say keep yourself safe. If you feel unsafe, seek help from an adult that you trust. So these are just some general things. If you are in a moment of really, really high distress, I definitely recommend taking some slow breaths, kind of getting that heart rate down, pulling yourself out of that really kind of fight or flight, alarm system type danger zone, and get yourself to a place where you can get support from someone that you trust. Again, you may have some other strategies that you're using right now, and that's totally okay to do, and I highly recommend that you continue to be creative in the way that you're coping with, managing, and dealing with the situation. But I also want to leave you with some hope that there are tons of organizations and people and businesses and everyone out there who is working to make change. And so this is a time, especially you as young people, can really make a difference. So if you feel compelled to do that, let your voice be heard. If you feel compelled to, support other people in their efforts, then do that as well. But I just encourage you that whatever you do to manage and deal with your emotions during this time, that you pick a healthy way to do it. And if you find that you're struggling or you need help, then reach out.